Greetings, I'm Shad, and guys, I'm very excited for this video.
It's a sword.
Dog, it's not just any sword, it's a special sword. In fact, it's a sword from my days of weebery. You know, look,
So your current days?
Current days, yeah, because that's the reality. I actually am a weeb.
We all are. Well, Nate is.
I'm not. Look, if this had been a Western sword, I'd be like, all right, I'm excited, but it's a katana. It's
Can you name 5 anime that you like?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one comes from one of my favorite animes, Rurouni Kenshin. Sometimes it's called Samurai X here in the West.
Oh, yes.
And one of their... So it's just such a great story. I want to open it.
Just get the sword out so people they have something to look at while we're talking.
Okay. We have a Sakabato, a reverse-bladed sword. Like, genuinely, but not only like a functional reverse-bladed sword.
Yeah, so hold it like this.
Hold it like this, you reckon?
Yep. It breaks your brain.
It does, like, which way do you hold it now? But people are wondering, how do we look at this?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
This glitches my brain out.
So Katana Empire reached out to us and said they really like our sword reviews. They'd love for us to review some of their swords. And whenever anyone offers me free swords, I'm like, well. Then they said take a look at their catalogue, and I did take a look, and I saw this. I've been wanting to test like a functional reverse blade Sakabato for a long time.
I mean, I'm interested to see how it performs, but it just looks so good.
There are some other really cool features that Katana Empire was able to send to us. They do etching. And so this actually has the Shadiversity logo etched right there.
I wouldn't call it a logo. I would say the brand name Shadiversity.
It's called a word mark.
Cool either way.
It's called
cool either way.
They also sent us this one, which we hopefully will review in another video. This is a really interesting sword.
This one I think is a little bit more, it's more expensive as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's about $1,000, this one. And it is made out of 3 grades of steel that are combined in the traditional way as a very traditional Hamon, differential hardened line. But there are some other features that are like, it's got a thicker base here, more profile, really acute point, which makes it kind of odd and different.
It does, but we're going to save that for a dedicated video. But we did get these from the same manufacturer, so they sent us
Katana Empire. Link in the description to their website and this sword specifically. Now this sword, let's talk a little bit about this sword, okay? It is a manganese steel, which is it's a hard grade steel.
It is.
It's
a work hardening steel.
Yes.
Made to take impacts. We'll see how well it holds up.
Now for those who don't know, work hardening steel just means the more you use it, the harder it gets.
Which has a
pros
obvious con to it.
We'll see how it holds up.
It'll be fine for the review, of course.
300 US. Okay. Reasonably priced. Now, when it comes to this type of sword, right, they call it kind of like a manga sword, but it's definitely inspired by Rurouni Kenshin.
Yes.
One of my favorite all-time animes. And Tyrant, you were saying it breaks your brain a bit.
Yes, it does. First off, I'll just go through a little bit of fit and finish here, just because we've got it here. First off, this blade, obviously the edge is on this side, which obviously is like, it's like, oh yeah, that it's just on the opposite side, what's the big deal? Well, it changes a lot of characteristics, especially when the katana is designed to be used the opposite way. But when we come down to here, Habaki, this seems like a very basic one. We cover this every time.
It looks nice.
The fit and finish of all the little, little bits here, like the Tsuba. This Tsuba is very different from any that I've seen.
Yeah, it's a leaf Tsuba.
Yes, I think it's...
Copper?
Yeah, it's copper. This will be copper. A lot of the fittings here look like they're either copper or just copper plated. It looks to be real ray skin we've got in there. Doesn't seem to be very nice for real ray skin though, especially compared to like...
Oh no, that's standard.
Like it's real ray skin either way, so that's a plus.
Nice tight wrap.
Nice tight wrap. It feels good in the hand, barring the obvious...
Other way?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the thing, like which way do you hold it now?
But for what you're getting for 300, I'd say it's all right. Obviously the biggest draw here is going to be the blade and sharpness. The sharpness on this is actually
pretty good.
Very good, especially up here. That's I like that. So we shouldn't have any issues doing cut tests.
We hope so.
Except for user issues.
What's interesting is that I guess the question how you hold it, because in Rurouni Kenshin he holds it like this and purposely strikes with the back edge. It's just a really interesting narrative device where if people unfamiliar with Rurouni Kenshin, he has been trained in a legendary sword technique, the Hiten Mitsurugi. Hiten Mitsurugi! Which is like an ultimate sword fighting technique. And he never completed his training specifically, though he does in the course of the anime. And during it was the Edo period and the Meiji Revolution, he decides to join the fight. And basically he becomes known as Batosai the Manslayer because of how insanely good he is at fighting, and he's just cutting everyone up, okay? The thing is though, he gets so distraught, and there is just a phenomenal story in the Samurai X prologue about what happens to him, that he vows to never kill again. Yet, he still has these incredible sword skills. And so he is given the Sakabato, and he uses it with the back edge. And so now when he uses his super sword technique with a blunt sword, essentially, he knocks people out. And so, but the blade is on the back edge as a constant kind of temptation. Sometimes he uses it in a utilitarian way, just to cut a pillar or something in half so he can still actually do a cut when he needs it. But the temptation is also there, because sometimes he comes across guys that are so evil that killing him would be a lot easier and convenient to solve the issue. And it's got a brilliant story, because there are times when he is so angry and you see him just go like that. And you know what's on when that happens. I won't give any spoilers to the anime though. So I am actually interested in making some strikes with the back edge like Rurouni Kenshin, but also to see how it cuts. Now, having a sword like this isn't necessarily unknown.
No, not at all.
So Nate, you know of a sword that's like this?
Yes, so there is the Dacian or Thracian, I can never quite pronounce that, the Falx, which has the forward-facing hook designed specifically to go through shields, go through helmets at the time. It was a lot more prominent than that, but it is deadly because you're putting a lot of force into a forward-facing hook, forward-facing tip. As for how the rest of it cuts, it kind of looks like a Yatagan, I can never pronounce that. Persian weapon. Turkish weapon.
Having an inverse curve, because this is what it's called. You have a regular curve, this is an inverse curve, is not unheard of in weapons. And, I mean, with the Falx, it has a more prominently pronounced curve, so when you strike a shield, the curve might actually still hit someone on the head, and it digs into the shields pretty well.
Yes.
It changes the point of leverage on the striking, which I have no idea how that's going to affect cutting.
This will more cut like a scythe, I believe. So you're using an inverse curve. We'll just have to see how it goes.
I can't wait. As expected, the back edge did not cut. Probably knock someone out, you reckon?
Yeah.
We need to test that. Tyrant!
Cut the pool noodle, Shad. You're blue balling everybody.
Tyrant is just like... Okay, we will get to cutting with the actual edge. Now, this is going to change the angle of attack, which is odd because oftentimes with the, when it's curved, right, that enables you to approach on a more shallow angle, which gets more cutting motion. Where this, it's going to cause a more flat cut. In what ways would that be beneficial? Like having an inverse curve like that? Does it increase a leverage point where you can apply more forward pressure? All right. Just a straight cut. Like I'll just, like this. Tyrant does do better horizontal cuts than me, so I'm interested to see what his feedback is on that one. But like an angle cut, that was pretty easy. I reckon it's the actual angle of the sword that's causing that.
I feel like an anime character right now. Just like a bit of a, you block someone and then you come up with an upward strike and you got them on the back end. I think it's cool, all right? But.
That sounded like it had more resistance then.
Perhaps I had to put a little bit of more force on. See, that's gnarly. When you get that tip, it feels like it's like a cram bit. It feels like it's clawing in, and that is gnarly. Oh, I would not want to get hit by that. I do feel like there would be a use case for it. Not a use case, but like something that if you trained, you wouldn't be damaging your blade, because usually when some people say they want to hit with the flat edge of the katana, right? You can block how you normally would, but then you can come in for tricky, sneaky reverse edge shots. So I don't think it's completely useless.
You just brought up something really interesting about the grip, right? Because we're all assuming that if you had a reverse edge, you would just fight with it like that. But that's because in Japanese swordsmanship, they don't learn reverse edge cuts. And so there are a lot of strikes that you can rotate in and then come back to the forward edge. And so you might...
And you wouldn't damage your primary edge if you were blocking.
So just because it has a blade on the back edge does not mean you would universally use it like that. In actual fact, it could be a really good blocking sword, and then you come in with those reverse edge. And look how easy it was to rotate there. Like I'm like this, right? You come in for an attack, and then I'm already reversed, and then you can go again, and then suddenly I'm back to normal.
It seems like something stupid, but once you hold it in your hand, you think to yourself,
there's interesting potential.
If it's a single-edged sword, specifically, obviously.
But Chad, I think the audience actually wants to see you do that.
Well, okay, but I reckon we will test reverse edge cutting, but I just find this really interesting because I never default or even try doing reverse edge cuts with a katana because it doesn't have a reverse edge. And so just experimenting reverse edge cutting here and seeing how easy it is to transfer between the forward edge and the back using European swordsmanship, right? Look how easy I'm transitioning to cuts, I've reversed, and then there, and I'm back.
You're told with a katana to block with the flat edge. So what if your lead edge is already of the flat edge?
That's interesting. Well, let's try some reverse cuts. So look, has to be mentioned, doing really good reverse edge cuts, this Suba is just getting in the way, because, I mean, one of the hand grips that you utilize to do lots of reverse edge cuts is actually you rotate the sword sideways, and you usually put your thumb on the blade. That's in the way, and so I have to do that to get really good angles, because you can see why that's the case. If it was regular, you have to kind of twist and rotate really far to get that angle, but as soon as you just that 90 degrees, bang, much, much easier. And even when I'm like this, you can still present this at forward and just come down with that reverse edge cut back there. That works. And then block, block, come in. That one was messy, but still, I think that's proving the concept.
I would like a shot myself, actually, but I want to give it a bit of the old one-handed treatment, see how it goes.
So, all right, reverse edge cutting, viable, it works, but I am noticing that this seems extremely unforgiving when edge alignment is off.
Extremely.
Yes. Though, as Tyrant was saying, if you can get that tip, it's almost like it rips in and hooks.
Yeah.
So and is that because of the additional leverage?
I imagine so. So anything that is, and on the extreme level, anything that is 90 degrees to the handle you're holding just has more kinetic force being able to deliver to the target, and that is slightly taking advantage of that mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, I can even kind of demonstrate anyone. Like, if you try and apply a force where your wrists don't have kind of like, you know, a forward angle, it's just a bit less, but when it's like this, it's just the angle. This is why axes kind of have a forward, you know, they're presented more forward to get that leverage advantage. So it's a bit of a give and take where you get leverage bonus, but difficult in edge alignments, which can really mess it up. If you train well enough, because this is the same with swords that are more flexible, forgiving in edge alignment, trained to get that edge alignment right perfect.
I don't think it's as, I think it's it's viable. It's not like reverse grip here. It's not like that. But it's not, it still just has too many drawbacks. Like when you think about it, you think, oh yeah, if I have this to block on a single edge line, and then I can, you know, use the back edge to cut. The problem is generating large amounts of force, like just a straight normal cut.
Well, yeah, reverse edge cuts aren't as powerful generally than...
Yeah, it's not even in the same ballpark.
But you can just switch it around as you need.
You can. That's what I was coming across. When I do like a reverse edge cut, I can quickly transition back to whichever way I want it to be, which is good. It just doesn't feel as useful. I genuinely thought this curve on it would give it a bit like a
scythe.
Yeah.
See,
like a scythe.
I was more skeptical because it's just the angle, like
it's really not. It's,
exactly, like that felt like it was getting caught more than if it was the other curve where it would just slide through.
I agree. I'm surprised at this. I did not expect this because the cuts haven't felt.
You're surprised that I'm
clean.
right?
In this particular case, yeah. Usually you're wrong. So yeah.
I have a list, you know, Tyrant.
So do I, Chad.
You have one. You know what?
Hey guys, this medieval guy here didn't know what a revolution was. No, we're not talking about like when you overthrow a country. We're talking about the circular revolution. Did you know what a revolution was?
Tyrant?
Yeah.
I'm adding this to my list.
Okay, yeah. This one's fair. You can add this one. You can add this one.
They have been arguing like this all morning. All morning.
Well, since, well, forever.
Yeah, since he came. Like literally, the very first day. All right, hang on. I'll be back. Ready?
He loves bringing this one up. I said that the plastic table wouldn't survive us smashing it with a steel pole. That's perfectly reasonable, right, guys? So
very first day. See this table here? We put something on it to break, and Tyrant was convinced that it wouldn't hold up.
Yes, but didn't you actually say that one of those, you know, those steel chairs would be fine, and then we instantly broke it? The table, actually.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did. You're like, this will be fine. It's steel. It's good.
Morning. All morning.
But anyway, the takeaway was that...
Anyways, that Shad is wrong as well.
I was right.
With this, I think that curve, using it like a falx or a falx, how do you pronounce that word?
Falx. Just
Falx.
Yeah.
So Dacian, Thracian falx. Isn't as effective as what a falx would be. It doesn't have enough of a prominent
they have
hook.
a more curve.
Exactly.
And it seems like overall there's more negatives than benefits from this design.
Quite possibly. If it had like an actual crossguard on it, being able to use it use it a forward edge like this, defensively to pull a blade in because it's angled right, would be fine. I may as well have a blunt sword at this point, and you guys know that I train with blunt swords anyway. The Suba is my main concern here. This, it doesn't matter how I hold it, and I understand. I actually hold the grip fairly high up. It's just not comfortable. It's digging into my hand. It's too decorative.
A little bit down, like 1 centimeter down, and you're fine.
I like to get right up near the balance of the blade.
Yeah.
Subas are easily replaced. So in this particular case, I don't hold it against this.
Now, we need to say this isn't to invalidate
No.
Kenshin, Kenshin's use, because he uses it in the conventional way, and the blade is just a backup. We are analysing if this was a primary kind of weapon, and of course you wanted to defeat your opponents, kill them, you would then need to utilise the back edge, which is now the primary edge, I guess, in this discussion. And how viable is it? There are problems.
I just come to the realization, like, hey, why not just have 2 edges?
What do you know? Mind blown! Funnily enough, that solves all the issues.
It really does.
It really does.
But this has been our disappointing pool noodle cutting. Why don't we get on to some of our water bottles?
Thank you everyone who is watching this video and also supporting this channel, because it is genuinely only thanks to you that we're able to continue doing this. A lot of our viewers actually don't understand that we're not technically sustainable on ad revenue, and it's only getting worse. We also understand that people are not able to support forever. So for the length of time that many people have been able to support, we are very, very grateful, but that does put us in a position that we need new supporters, and this is through channel memberships, Patreon, Subscribestar, or Player. There is a lot of overheads making this content. We employ several people, and we try and push the quality of the content as far as possible, but that means without your support, we would be unable to do this. So if you're able to donate anything, $1, $5, anything at all, it means more than we can express. There's more ways to do it than ever before. Like I said, memberships, Patreon, Subscribestar or Utreon, and thank you, genuinely thank you to everyone who is supporting us. Edge feels just as sharp, so no dulling at all there. And it is a sharp edge, so the resistance and difficulty we're running into is, I think, both edge alignment and the awkwardness of the angle. Let's try some water bottles. This one, not a lot of energy. You shouldn't need to do a lot of energy. I'm just going to do some basic. Not a lot of, that was more exploding, and look, tearing as well. That wasn't a clean cut. Ah! Whoa, that's another, felt there was resistance, it felt like it more exploded, and there was more tearing.
I'm going to try to go very, very tippy, just to see how that hook reacts when you barely nick it. Like it's pretty good. It's acting very much like a claw.
Yeah.
All right, still proper cut. Oh.
Yeah, not nice, is it?
No, like my edge alignment was a little bit off with that one. I felt it was a little bit of a slap, but it was definitely a cut, but it just still tore.
Yeah.
I almost feel like that if you use the very tip, you're getting the most out of this blade.
I mean, it's a nice clean cut, but it felt not nice. That one felt all right.
That was all right. I was surprised about that last horizontal one.
Oh, no,
wait. This blade has almost armor penetrating properties in its tip. We've got 2 of these bottles and they're a harder plastic than some of the others. I think...
At least, wow, that's like 4 times harder.
I think if you guys do, and we only got 2, so we'll give it to these guys, but I think if you guys do a very tippy cut and just see how much better it feels with a higher resistance.
All right.
See how it goes.
You can go first.
I will go first.
So then I need to know how much better I need to do. You know.
Of course, Tyrant, of course.
Whoa.
That was nice.
I felt the resistance though, and it's not clean.
I wanted to create a new lid for my bottle. That was entirely on purpose.
Yeah. Well,
but look at that.
I did say to go tippy.
I think you missed a bit.
Well, no, I wanted to showcase people both sides. So look.
Are you going to drink your victories? It's tap water. we totally trust the tap water here.
Be a man, yeah.
But, like I said, those type of weapons with the hook are designed to really just penetrate armor, penetrate shields, penetrate helmets. So,
well,
what did you think versus the high resistance?
I was using the tip, obviously, very much so in that last cut, and I didn't actually feel that much. It actually felt not bad.
That one was nice.
It feels like a normal sword when you use the tip. It doesn't feel better. I just
Cut
feel
lower, and to get feedback on just the middle blade.
Much lower.
Aha! Yep.
That's not a skill issue, guys. That's a blade issue.
Skill issue.
Yeah, that felt terrible.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been getting feedback with all my cuts on that same area.
So it seems a little bit like a double-edged sword, not literally. When you cut up in the tip, you're going to get a nice, cleaner cut, like a regular sword. But because it is a hooked tip, if you're cutting something like a pool noodle,
it gets caught.
It gets caught, which is the issue. So,
and then when you cut lower down,
it's
messy and edge alignment can war.
And there's a lot of scooping. A lot of scooping with the shots, just purely because if your edge alignment isn't
crazy.
firm.
I legit thought this would be played by like scythe rules. Like it'd draw it like a karambit.
Scythes are asymmetrical though. They are flat on one side and then curved on the other. Like they're designed to cut grass, and grass has one height.
And the shape assists in, when you cut like with a scythe and grass, basically, instead of the grass sliding out, it causes the grass to slide in, and it collects it. That's the whole point. So just going to test drawing it, you know. Before it was edge up, the edge is all confused now. But anyway, I'm drawing it like this way, okay? That's actually easier. Drawing it that way is easier, but, you know, that's holding it that way, though. If we did it this way, but then that way, that's like, awkward. And so, but that's with the edge. Yeah, me too, I can hear that. So, yeah. I want to test just some basic hits with the edge, the Rurouni Kenshin, just to, you know, see, because essentially I'm using it like a club. And this does raise an interesting question. How effective would a sword be as a club if it was fully blunt? We have training swords that are blunt, but not this blunt, right? And they're made to be floppy and safe, where this is actually a serious, stiff sword. And it actually still might be effective as a blunt weapon because it is focusing the force onto a finer end, where a club, you know, it's dispersed over a wider surface area. And it's not as like acute as nearly as a sharp edge, but it is a finer point. And so I just want to see kind of what force transfer we will get here. So, interesting. A club would get a lot more bounce. That actually, running into the, because one of the downsides is, even though it's a kind of wider edge, not a lot of mass in the blade. Interesting. I'm feeling a lot more resistance than when I just hit Boromir with a club. Like, maybe with a Hita Mitsurugi technique? It would... Alright. Yeah, effective enough, it'll hurt. Not as good as a club though. So yeah, I reckon you could break a collarbone, crack open a skull, difficulty, break an arm, potentially. But still, like a proper club, more focused weight, that's going to do a lot more blunt force trauma, just physics, right? Interesting though, very interesting. Let's give our final thoughts. Okay, this was really interesting. I kind of expected some of the results, but before we get into that, the overall construction of this katana is solid, I found. Overall, I think this is a well-constructed sword. Katana Empire, good job with it. There's a link to this sword specifically, and like the novelty having a real Sakabato is actually pretty cool.
It is cool, but I'm going to give, I've never done this for like a katana before, but I want to give this a functionality score in terms of the concept.
The concept, I think that's
This
fair.
blade itself is fine, you know, if you're into something like this, it's a well-made blade for $300, you actually kind of can't go wrong. It's actually not bad. But the concept of having a katana completely
reverse edge. And so this is basically not looking at the Rurouni Kenshin where he purposefully uses it like a regular katana with only a backup. No, this is looking at it, this is the primary edge as this design sword, like a Falx, okay?
I am not sold on it at all.
Me neither.
It was not good, didn't feel good to cut. The only time we're able to get some like positive results was right at the tip, but that's also, like I said before, a bit of a double-edged sword in there. It gets stuck like a hook.
I love your realization of, you know what would make this better? Having two edges. Why don't,
I have always said that two edges is better. I love katanas, but there's no disputing two-edge supremacy.
More versatility. And you can get designs of double-edged swords that have great edge profiles, cut brilliantly.
Well, okay, so let's talk functionality score, but are we talking functionality score for this specific blade or the inverse in general?
The concept.
Having it on the other
And this isn't set, we're not judging this on a Falx, because a Falx has an even greater curve.
Yes, which gives a lot more penetration.
Yeah.
This is a backwards katana, basically, okay?
I'm at like a 3.
I'm at like a 4.
It was not good.
I was going to say 3.5.
We're pretty much in agreement.
Yeah.
Very close.
Like, I wouldn't want to go too low below 5 because it's still functional.
It's a very functional sword. And
Yes, but I mean, this is better. This is way better.
I am looking forward to reviewing this one because it's different. There is another katana we've reviewed recently which blew our friggin' minds.
Oh yeah. Strongest katana I've ever used so far. it turned into a chisel at the end.
It was an anime near unbreakable katana
Yeah.
for like sword use. We clashed it against other sword blades and barely nicked it.
Yeah.
It was insane, and Tyrant actually started to rage out trying to break it. It was great fun to watch. You should check
It's
it
right
out.
there.
Video.
Right there. Check it out, and also subscribe to Shadowversity so you don't miss out, because we've got future reviews coming as well as all of our fun shenanigans. Hope to see you there. Right there.
Bye guys.